So was CrowdStrike fed a bunch of false information so they would put their computer expert services imprimatur on this, making it appear that the DNC hack actually happened? I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon, won't we? That would be a double frame job, wouldn't it? This is going to get interesting real quick. All right, so my buddy Technofog, subscribe to his Substack. It's amazing. He wrote this article about John Durham, who was prosecuting all of the perpetrators in the Spygate scandal against Donald Trump. And as we know, one of these lawyers associated with the Clinton campaign, Michael Sussman, was indicted. And now this case is really starting to heat up. Is anything going to happen for the 1,000th time? I don't know. I have no faith in the Justice Department whatsoever. All I can tell you is Techno makes a pretty good case that something going on here, that there's something going on here way deeper than an indictment against a Clinton-affiliated lawyer in the Spygate case for lying to the FBI. He brings up this rather important point, something Sarah Carter covered on my Fox show about a month ago. We were way ahead of via Sarah. She says, remember the Trump Alpha Bank connection where the Trump Tower was alleged to have communicated with Alpha Bank in Russia, and the Spygate conspiracy theorists said, oh my gosh, Trump Tower is communicating with a bank in Russia. This is their Putin-Trump channel. Well, Techno in his piece talks about this report from Ankara from 2020 and has some thoughts on what went down. And the thought is this, that this may have been Donald Trump getting framed the entire time, as they may have filled out some fake sales forms on each site and pretended both of these sites, Trump Tower and Alpha Bank, were connecting. And he notes the theory of manipulating the data is consistent with the communications revealed in the Sussman indictment, where a member of the Alpha Bank, quote, research team explained how it would be possible to do this. Why do I bring this up? Folks, not only was the entire collusion thing a hoax, but what if it wasn't just some kind of misfeasance, but it was overt malfeasance? In other words, not only did they get it wrong that Trump Tower wasn't communicating with a Russian bank, but they did it themselves in an effort to frame Donald Trump. Oh, man, that would be really bad, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be grounds for a conspiracy charge? Listen, as I said, my faith in the Justice Department is very little, but I sincerely doubt that John Durham is wasting time on a 27-page indictment to go after absolutely no one else, if it turns out, in fact, that a bunch of tech people colluded with the Clinton campaign and a bunch of DNC lawyers to frame Donald Trump for a connection, a computer connection that they set up themselves. It's part 2 of this piece, and I'll move on. Read it. It's in my newsletter today. He brings up another point we brought up last week. We love being ahead of this stuff. Techno has been on this from the start. Hey, was the DNC even hacked? Remember, that was the principal allegation in the collusion hoax, that the DNC, Democrat National Committee, was hacked by the Russians, and then they colluded with Donald Trump to embarrass the Democrats and win the election. But that would require something for that to be a collusion conspiracy between Trump and the Russians. What would it require? It would require the DNC to have been hacked by the Russians. What if that didn't happen either? Not only was there no Trump Tower Alpha Bank connection, that I believe was totally fabricated and Donald Trump was being framed, but what if the DNC hack was made up too? Techno notes this. He says there's long been suspicions of CrowdStrike, which analyzed the DNC computer and implied that they were hacked by the Russians. He says there have long been suspicions of CrowdStrike as being the entity that manipulated data showing Russians allegedly hacked the DNC and Clinton servers as it extracted the emails. He notes something interesting, though. What if CrowdStrike was a patsy, there to unknowingly reach false conclusions of a Russia hack based on information provided to them by Perkins Coie and the DNC? Think of this last line. Digest this one. Consider the potential that CrowdStrike was set up to reach a predetermined conclusion by the same lawyers and political figures that gave us the Alpha Bank hoax. That's not only one effort to frame Donald Trump through the Trump Tower Alpha connection that didn't exist, but what did CrowdStrike know? CrowdStrike themselves acknowledged they had no evidence data was exfiltrated from the DNC, which is a requirement for a hack. So was CrowdStrike fed a bunch of false information so they would put their computer expert services imprimatur on this, making it appear that the DNC hack actually happened? I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon, won't we? That would be a double frame job, wouldn't it? This is going to get interesting real quick.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.